had snowed overnight, it was frosty, the winds were howling, and that temperature, it was not cracking above the freezing mark. In fact, it was staying closer to 0 with wind chills well into the sub-zero factor. It was cold, teeth chattering cold.
It's tough to keep your fingers warm, your face warm. Makes it almost impossible to work equipment. But still some of the conditions that you just gotta go out and hunt if you're gonna get lucky.
We saw bucks though. We saw a lot of action out on the feeding fields where the deer were trying to get in calories. They were cold as well. But as I put the spotting scope on this group, and this group, and this group, and this group, I just could not come up with a buck over 140 inches. There was one super wide buck out there, but he wasn't tall and he was broke up a little bit. I roamed around, I was like the roaming gnome, but I couldn't find the big buck. After a few hours of this, I just decided, you know, I've got to run and gun in this situation. I'm not finding the buck I need, and I packed up and headed to another hot spot. Now midday, a lot of folks like to hit the diners, the convenience stores, sit in their trucks. I was going to a new spot. And as I got over there, the snow started coming down. It was just pounding by the time I got there. And when I set up, I figured my visibility was not going to be near what I needed to even see a buck come below me. Nevertheless, I sat down on a nice little perch that gave me a view of several intersecting valleys. Well, nothing showed up right away. But all of a sudden, I thought I saw a deer movement on the hill across from me. Sure enough, with a look through my binocular, it was a buck. He was rutting and rutting hard, midday in a heavy snow. It's enough reason for me to skip lunch and sit out there and wait for a deer. He came down right in front of us, worked the valley, working into the wind just like a hound dog, trying to find one more doe to breathe. Had he been a shooter, and he was close, let me tell you, been done right there. Well, you just never know when a big buck's gonna show up. That deer come right down this draw looking for a hot doe in the worst of the weather possible. That's why you need to stay out all day long. That was high noon when that buck walked through here. And it just goes to show you, anytime, any place. We're gonna make a quick move and see if we can get lucky. Remember, I had that hunch some other deer were coming out of a far corner on that river bottom. Well, that's exactly where I headed. To get the most out of this evening, the sun was setting. I dropped back down right on the riverbank and cut back in as far as I could to pop up in the buck's bedroom. Now you'd think coming into a buck's bedroom, you'd spook them as you come through the dense timber. Sometimes you do, but with this action, you can also sound like a buck rustling. And that's why I always add in some soft grunts and just stop for a long time, take a couple steps and stop and grunt. It sounds like a deer. I may look like a human, but I try to hunker down and just take my time weaving through. Deer action was happening everywhere around me. A lot of the deer were already on the field. Those bigger bucks were cruising right in front of me, and I saw the buck I wanted. He was that big, heavy 4-point. Looked like he had a broken tine, and he was cruising, chasing a doe. That buck, to me, seemed like he was the dominant buck in the area. It was my third time seeing him on the same field, in the same area, in the same piece of timber. He had to be the dominant buck, and by now I was thinking it might just be time to take him home.
Riders expect certain things from a Can-Am ATV. Groundbreaking technology, responsive handling, and the most power in every class. So why would they expect anything less from a Can-Am side-by-side? Introducing the Can-Am Commander, the most powerful rec utility side-by-side in the industry, with precision handling and the first dual-level cargo box. The facts say it's the most advanced side-by-side ever built, but the ride says it all.
Next Generation is born from passion, inspiration, innovation. It's an all-new binocular forged through experience and built to exceed expectations. A new series of rifle scopes engineered to welcome the challenge of dawn and dusk and deliver the promise of precision with technology that helps make every shot spot on. ProStaff is the next generation of passion-inspired performance. It's next generation now.